Okay, Eric, we are recording. It is 11 o'clock. I will continue to let everybody in from the waiting room.
Perfect. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Eric Betancourt, and I am an educational advisor for veterans at Riverside Community College District and also a certified official for the district. On behalf of Riverside Community College District, CalVet, and CalTAP, I would like to welcome everyone for joining us today for today's webinar on VA home loans through CalVet. Appreciate you for being here and taking the time joining us today. And I also did want to share some information with you in regards to veterans building. So Norco College it's in the process of building its own veterans building, and it should be completed this fall. So that's some exciting news. So veterans, dependents, and students will be able to join us at our building. We're going to have our own lounge area, our own study area, our own kitchen, our own outside patio. So a lot of cool features that are going to be in this new building. So just wanted to share that with you. And like I said, once again, thank you for joining us today. You have a great rest of the day.
All right, thanks so much, Eric. That was a wonderful welcome. And I want to say good morning to everyone and welcome to the Riverside Community College District CalVet Home Loans webinar. My name is Jana Adams. I'm one of the training coordinators on the California Transition Assistance Program team at CalVet. And we are so excited that you guys are sharing your morning with us. So our agenda is packed full of lots of really great information. So we're really excited to have you guys here. Before we get going, I want to just go over a few quick housekeeping items. We do ask that you utilize the mute function and also turn off your cameras when you guys aren't talking. This is going to minimize any distractions for the presenters, as well as help with our bandwidth as we're going from slide to slide. And you guys got a couple emails last night and also this morning with the Zoom information. And in those emails, just want to let you know there's a couple really great links in there. One of them is a link to the PDF copy of the Veterans Resource Book. I'll go over that a little bit later. There's another link to the local interagency network coordinator map. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And we also have one of our local interagency network coordinators or links here with us today. She'll come on in a little bit. So there's just some really great information and links in that email. So go ahead and take a look at that if you need to. And then also a little bit after the webinar ends today, and then also during the webinar, you guys are going to see a link for a survey that you guys can take. And that's just going to give us really great feedback of how we can improve and what we're doing well with these webinars. We want to make sure that they are everything that you guys are expecting and wanting. So if you guys could fill those out, that'd be great. Kirk is going to put the link for the survey in the chat function a little later today. But we'll go ahead and get going. Like I said, the agenda is packed full of really great information. We have one of our local interagency network coordinators here. And then we have Brad here from CalVet Home Loans, and he's going to talk all about the home loans program that we have. And then afterwards, we're going to have a question and answer session where you guys can ask all the questions that you guys have. And either myself, Kirk, Merlene, or Brad will be able to answer those questions for you. So in case you haven't used the chat function before, we ask that you use the chat function to go ahead and ask those questions. That way we can get them answered at the end. You just hover over either the top or the bottom of your screen, find the chat button, and then you can ask questions directly to CalTAP questions. And then Kirk is manning that, and he will either send them to the person presenting that can answer it, or we'll answer those at the end in the question and answer section. Okay, so, but we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, my name is Jana. I'm one of the training coordinators on the CalTAP team, and I'm really excited to be able to just give you guys some really great information on some of the benefits and resources that CalVet offers to you as you live in California. So first, I kind of want to tell you what CalTAP is. So the goal of CalTAP is to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned federal and state benefits. And we know as the years go by, as the decades go by, your needs are going to change. The resources that you're going to need to get to are going to change through the years. So we want you to know that we're going to be here for you guys to answer your questions, to help you get to those resources, to get whatever help that you guys need. We're going to be here from all the time for you guys. So the way that we get you guys information is through 5 pathways. We have our core curriculum, our education, our employment, our entrepreneurship, and our service providers pathways. And inside each of those pathways are a lot of information on all the different benefits and the resources that we offer, and all the information that can be found online. So I'm going to go over that with you guys, how to find that online here in just a couple minutes. Okay, so this is the Veterans Resource Book. I had told you guys that I mentioned that a couple minutes ago. You guys got the PDF link to that. This is the live version here. The Veterans Resource Book is it's basically like gold. If you don't have one, you definitely want to take a quick peek at this link. It has all of the different resources and benefits laid out, how to get them, how to access them. Also, on the back of the book or the last page of the PDF, there is a 1-800 number right here, as you can see. That 1-800 number is actually going to get you guys to a live person at Calvet. So you can call that for anything that you need. If you don't understand the way something is written online about one of the benefits or the resources, or you can't find something or don't know where to start, call that number so that way we can help you out. Okay, so this is our website. You can just Google Calvet. We're probably going to be one of the first searches that comes up. This is our homepage here at Calvet. And you can just click on the link under the laptop, CalTAP, and you will get to our page. This is what it looks like. As you can see, the 5 pathways that I mentioned a few moments ago are listed right there. We'll go over that in a few moments. But if you scroll down our website, you see the section under webinars. There's going to be a couple things in here. Right under this, the tabs that say time, date, webinar, and registration, that's going to be a list of any upcoming webinars that we have that you can sign up for. Much like you did today on Eventbrite, there will be a registration link on there so you can see what webinars are coming up. But if you click on that archives link that's circled in yellow there, you're going to see this screen right here. And this is going to be a screen that's going to get you to all of our previously recorded webinars. So this webinar today is being recorded, and in the next day or two, we'll be able to put it right up on our website so that way anyone can access this information. We're also going to put the PowerPoint presentation on there as well. So this is just a screenshot of kind of what it looks like, but we have all of our previous webinars listed on there, right on our website. Okay, so how can you use CalTAP online? Okay, so when you go to that CalTAP page, like I said, you're going to see all of our pathways listed here. We're going to click on that core curriculum pathway, and this is what you'll see. We have everything listed out in a module style, and within each module, there's lots of lessons of information and resources or links that you might need, or applications to fill out, everything that you might need. So if you click on the California benefits module, this is basically this is how the modules are formatted. It's how it's laid out. This information is on the college tuition fee waiver for veteran dependents. We'll go over a couple basic details about that a little later. I'm sure a lot of you already know that information too, but this is how it's laid out when you click on it. Okay, so what are my California benefits? So what I'm going to be doing next is kind of going over just kind of a snapshot of a lot of the different benefits that Calvet offers. And all the information that I'm going to tell you guys is listed on our website. It's also in the resource book, or you can always call us at any time if you need more information or more clarification on something. So one of our biggest benefits that we have is our regional outreach. It's listed on page 13 in the resource book, and this talks about our local interagency network coordinators, or our links. You guys got a map that that maps out the different regions and the regions that each link covers. And we have Merlene here. She's going to talk next, and she's going to talk about what she does and what resources she can offer you guys. So up next is the college tuition fee waiver. So I'm sure you guys probably know a lot of information about this already, but the college tuition fee waiver for veteran dependents waives fees and tuition at any state-funded school. So this is going to cover your UCs, your CSUs, and your California community colleges from your general education all the way up through your doctorate. If you guys do need more information on this, please contact us so we can give you more information, answer any questions that you guys might have. There are programs through the DMV that veterans can utilize. The first one is a really great one. You guys can actually get veteran printed on your driver's license or your ID card. This is really great because then you won't have to carry your 214 around with you. That has your social security number on that. You probably don't want to carry that in your pocket or your purse with you, or your wallet. So getting it printed right on your license is a really easy thing to do, to not have to carry that. And it's really great for when you're out and about and you're asking someone, oh, do you offer a veteran discount? And they can say, oh, can you prove that you're a veteran? You can just pull out your license, your ID card, and it's listed on there. Anyone in California can get an honoring veterans license plate for their car. All of the different information all the different insignia information, and then any costs associated with that are located online or in the resource book, or you can always call us. And there is also a vehicle registration fee waiver. And to find all the eligibility requirements for that, you can either go to our website, or you can call us or look in the resource book. There are benefits if you enjoy outdoor activities. Disabled veterans may be eligible to receive a fishing and hunting license at a reduced annual fee. And then depending on your disability rating, you may be eligible for a state parks pass without any fees at all. I recommend checking the eligibility requirements for that either in the resource book or online, or you can always give us a call. Now, CalVet does offer a few beneficial tax programs. The first benefit is going to provide a property tax exemption for the home of a disabled veteran or an unmarried spouse of a deceased disabled veteran. There's also the business license, tax, and fee exemption for honorably discharged veterans. And there's the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Program, or the DVBE. What this program is if you want to sell goods to the state of California. So if you have any other questions on all of that, you can always call us anytime and we can go more in detail, or you can always look online or in the resource book as well. Okay, so CalVet Home Loans, this is what you guys are here for today. So I'm not going to give you guys a whole lot of information, but I am going to tell you to get really excited because Brad is going to give you a lot of really great resources and information, probably answer all of your guys' questions that you guys have. This is a really, really great program. It is different than the VA home loan. He's going to go over all of that for you. So just get really, really excited, and he'll give you lots of details on that. The Women Veterans Program provides information, advocacy, outreach, and support to California's women veterans and their family members. They also partner with the California Women Veterans Leadership Council, and this is a council that is it's statewide. So there are ladies on this council all over in different counties, and they're able to get information from county to county of what's going on, or if they need something, they're able to get information out. So really great council to be a part of. Now you can find all the information on our website on the Women's Veteran Division. What you're going to do is you're going to go to CalVet Programs up at the top here and click on that. It's going to be a drop-down screen that you can click on Women Veterans, and this is the screen that you see. So you can get a hold of them via email right here, or you can also click on this one. This is the Women's Veteran Roster. You can sign up with your email address so that way you are getting information emailed to you about what's going on in California. Okay, the CalVet Minority Veteran Division is also going to provide information, advocacy, outreach, and support to California's minority veterans and their families. This program also provides help to unnaturalized veterans in California with citizenship and naturalization services. And there's also a roster that you can sign up for as well. So you're going to kind of do the same thing to find this page. You're just going to go to CalVet Programs at the top. Click on that menu till you see minority and underrepresented veterans. And then the roster is down here. You'll click on that and then you can put your email address in there. If you have any questions for them, either their phone number or their email is listed right on their website as well. Okay, so switching gears a little bit, this is probably something that you are not quite yet thinking of, but it's really great to have this information. California has 8 CalVet homes for long-term care. As you can see, all of the different locations are listed there, but they're going to offer 6 levels of care, going anywhere from independent care or independent living, memory care, assisted living, and then skilled nursing care as well. All the different requirements, eligibility, if there's a wait list, all of that stuff is right on our website, or you can find information in our resource book, or you can always call us. So something else you're probably not quite thinking of yet is our cemeteries. Now, you probably know that there are 9 national cemeteries in California, but there are also 3 state cemeteries as well. We've got one on the coast and seaside, one up north in Redding, and then we have one a little bit more centrally located in Yountville. All the requirements, information for these cemeteries are listed in the resource book, also online. Again, you can always call us for more details too. So I know that was probably information overload, lots of stuff. But like I said, all the information is right online. It's in our website. You can call us. Just a couple quick websites I want to leave you guys with, just in case you haven't visited them yet. The first one is va.gov. I'm sure you all have gone here. If you have not, check it out. This is a great way to manage all of your VA benefits and your healthcare. As you can see, there's lots of things you can click on here. So really great website to check out if you haven't yet. The next website is eBenefits. This website is actually a collaboration between the VA and the Department of Defense. As you can see, you can manage all kinds of things, different aspects of your healthcare and different applications, things like that. So also another great resource. And lastly, we have My Health eVet. As you can see, it's just another great website to manage all your healthcare needs. So check those out if you haven't already. This is my information of how you can get a hold of me if you have any further questions or need help with any of the resources that I mentioned. Another great way to keep involved with CalVet is also to follow us on social media. So if you guys have Facebook, you guys can just open up your camera and you can click on or you can hover over the screen on the QR code, and that'll pull up a link. You can click on that and then you can follow us on Facebook. So just another way to get more information of what CalVet's doing. However, right now I am going to turn things over to Merlene. Like I said earlier, she's one of our local interagency network coordinators, and she's going to talk about what she does. So whenever you're ready, Merlene.
Thanks, Jana.
Of course.
So I am a local interagency network coordinator. I want to explain more about what that means. Now, Jana did say that it was like a regional representative. So next slide, I want to show you what that means. California was really, really smart. They realized that our area is very, very vast and has different needs in different sections. So they split California into 8 different regions. I am that big red area. Pre-COVID, I would travel throughout the region. I'm starting to travel more now as things open up. However, each area has unique needs. As you could tell, our needs here in the Inland Empire would be vastly different from that of the region of LA. Every link has a very unique background. They're very good at what they do. And what we do is we interact with different agencies within our area of jurisdiction. If you do need to contact somebody in a different region after this webinar, you can go ahead and get a hold of me and I will send you to the correct region. Next slide. What we do though is we provide outreach directly to service members, veterans and their families, and we make referrals and work directly with the established service providers. But what does that mean exactly? In each area, we have what we call community partners, which we team up with to make sure that there are no gaps in services towards veterans. We also assist with local emergencies. If you remember the fires we've had recently in California, you'll find at the local assistance center a link that can direct you and guide you to different types of resources in your area. We also provide leadership and advocacy to local communities. For example, this morning, prior to this webinar, I was in a different meeting. It was virtual, but it was regarding all of the directors in the local area. So that would be the regional VBA, so the Benefits Association. The director for LA was there. Also, there was the director for Riverside National Cemetery and for the director for VA Loma Linda. So all the different regions, including the county, was there. So we all meet and we provide advocacy and find out what exactly are the veterans' needs and how do we refer them. We'll do what's called a warm handoff. We'll talk directly to a person that can assist the veteran, which is really great because they don't always get those kinds of resources. Also, we work with nonprofits. This is super important to understand because like there are certain needs, like today we're going to be talking about housing. In my area, there's something called the Heroes Warehouse. You may buy a house, but there's nothing to put in the house. They provide furniture. So if a veteran needs a refrigerator, if they need a couch, a bed, this is really great information for them. So being able to get them over to somebody that can assist them is very helpful to the veterans. Next slide. We also work directly with, like I said, the county, the state, the federal, but we also work directly within our state. So sometimes veterans just come to me and say, hey, I need a job. Veterans are great for that. They want to work. So I'll have contacts at our local EDD office. Our Central California link, for example, used to work there. She's really great, has a lot of contacts. So getting them over to the American Job Center, doing a warm handoff with somebody that's a veterans service representative that can get them that job. That's very, very important. Also, our state benefits. The state of California accreditates the county veteran service officers. So we know that they're good. We know that they're not going to charge the veteran. We also have contacts here at Calvet, such as Brad. If you were to come and say, hey, I have an issue with my house and my home loan, we could get you over to somebody like Brad that could assist you with that. Also, healthcare. We have the clinics, the CBOCs, the veterans, the main healthcare facilities. We have contacts in almost every department, so we can assist the veterans directly that way. Next slide. This is my contact information. Please go ahead and feel free to reach out to me. If I don't answer, then I'm in a webinar, but please text or email me, and I should get back to you as soon as I usually get back within 24 hours or so. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Merlene. And she's not kidding, you guys. If you contact her, she really does contact you back. So reach out to her for resources. She has a wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much for all that, Merlene. So now I told you guys to get really excited. So I hope you did. We have Brad here from Home Loans, and he is going to talk all about our program and give you guys just some wonderful information. So whenever you're ready, Brad.
Thanks, Jana. I hope I can live up to that intro. I love talking to people about the home loan product, but what you're going to find is I'm not going to just talk about Calvet. I like to talk about other opportunities for veterans out there because I think that's important. I actually have figured out that if I start my conversation with you and tell you the history of my branch of the California Department of Veterans Affairs, it sort of makes everything fall into place and it makes it more understandable. So let's do that. Here's a quick history lesson, okay? So it was about 1921, and what was happening at that time was our veterans were coming home from World War I. The state of California, the population of California, they were extremely patriotic. They were thrilled to greet these veterans as they were coming home. And the government of California said, hey, what could we do as a state above and beyond the federal benefits that they're going to receive? What could we do as a thank you for the veterans coming home? So they looked at a lot of things. They looked at the demographics of those people coming home. They saw something. They saw one thing in common. A lot of them were actually farm boys. So in 1921, they started the California Farm and Home Loan Program. Now, if you fast forward to about 1943, that's when my division became one of the branches of the California Department of Veterans Affairs. And if you go up to our building in Sacramento across from the Capitol, and you go up on the second floor, you'll see it still says on the door, Farm and Home Loan. And I like to point that out for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to point out that we are almost 100 years old. We'll actually be turning 100 years old in May. We've been around a long time. In that 100-year period of time, understand, as our name implies, farm and home loans, we've done many different types of loans. We don't just do one type of loan. We have many types of loans. I won't have time today to talk about all the different things we do, but we do mobile home loans, we do home improvement loans, we do rehab loans. We do many different types of loans that we have found over the different decades have been needed by veterans. Now, sometimes those loan programs are outdated, or really we don't use them very much. So they sit on a shelf. We can pull them down if we want to and reuse them. But in general, we have a lot of different loan programs. Now, I think it's important to understand that Calvet approaches this whole thing a little different than everybody else. Nobody at Calvet is a commission loan officer. If you think back to how we came into being, it was to say thank you to veterans. So the way that I've interpreted this is we have a mandate to help people get into housing, to do our best to help them achieve their goals. Now, I should say right away, we can't help everybody. We're a loan program. You have to qualify. You have to be fiscally sustainable to do it. But we want to help everybody. And because that's our mandate, my mandate, I believe that that means not only telling you about the Calvet programs, but helping you with other programs offered by other lenders, which is kind of unique. But we're willing and able, and we desire to help you get into a home, even if it's through a different lender than Calvet. Next slide, please. One of the things that I think happens out there, next slide, please, is that people go on the internet now and they get their information from the internet. And the only issue with that I have seen happen a lot is because we are so old, we've been around so long, and we have so many different home loan, farm loan, improvement loan, construction loan. We have so many different programs, people get somewhat confused. And things change. So I think what's happened is people will go on the internet and they'll find a loan product that we offer, and they'll read through it and they'll see a paragraph they like it. They'll highlight that, they'll copy and paste it into an article they're putting together. They'll do more research. They'll find another product that they like, and they'll find a snippet from that they like, and they copy and paste, put it over. Next thing you know, they'll publish that article made up of bits and pieces of many different programs. And then other people will come along and take their article and grab bits and pieces. And so what happens is, I don't think there's any malintent. It's just that information gets out that's old, information gets out that's not quite exactly right the way it was put together. There's just some misunderstandings. And one of the most common ones that I really would appreciate if you help me with, because I think it's hindering a lot of people, because I get a lot of calls and people will say to me, Brad, I'm a Calvet. And that tells me they've done some research, and on the internet or somewhere they have found that at one time you had to have entered your military service from the state of California in order to apply for a Calvet loan, to just apply. But that's no longer the case. That's old information. Today, any active duty, any veteran who entered service at any place in the world, who is living any place in the world but plans to come to California, they can all apply for the Calvet home loan. You have to qualify. Not everyone qualifies, that's the truth. But they can apply. And it saddens me, because I believe that a large amount of people out there, because I talk to them from time to time, were under the impression they couldn't even apply. And so they lose that opportunity, they lose the chance. Sometimes it is their only chance to get into a home. And I would like to help them get into a home. Next slide, please. So the number one question that I get at Calvet is, people will call me and they'll say, Brad, what's the difference between the Calvet home loan and the VA home loan? Next slide, please. And so what I'll do is I'll kind of tell them, but you know, I've answered this question so many times in so many ways that I found there's one answer that seems to resonate with most people. So I'd like to teach it to you, because I believe it's the best thing is for somebody from the outside to tell somebody from the outside, vet to vet. Hey, have you heard this? Get that information out for us would be fantastic. So here's what I say. Here's my pat answer, if you will. I say, okay, when you're talking about the federal VA home loan, the first thing you got to understand is the federal VA home loan, federal VA does not loan the money. Federal VA doesn't make the loan. What federal VA does is they issue a loan guarantee to the lender that does make the loan. Now, that loan guarantee, it's sort of like an insurance policy that they'll give to any lender in any county in the United States who wants to make a federally guaranteed, federally backed VA home loan. It's a fantastic program. I don't want anyone to ever think I don't like that program. I love the federal VA home loan program. I sincerely think that every single veteran who's thinking of refinancing or purchasing a home should look at the federal VA home loan. It should be part of your toolbox of home ownership. You should include that. It should be a consideration. It's a fantastic loan. I love it. Now, who's CalVet? Well, CalVet, as I described earlier, is this unique identity where actually the state of California acting as a lender. And we have many different loans. We have many different loans that we offer. But my favorite loan, and surprising to many, many people, my favorite loan that we offer is when we take the federal VA home loan guarantee and combine it with the state of California flexibility, the CalVet funding. We fund a federally backed CalVet home loan. We put them together. 1 and 1 is 2. You get more stuff. You get the federal benefits and the state benefits flowing together into one loan. It's very powerful. It's very flexible. It's a fantastic loan program that helps a lot of people be successful who wouldn't be successful otherwise. Next slide, please. So if I'm talking live, and I prefer to talk live, honestly, because right now I'm really just staring at a wall in my bedroom downstairs, and I would love to see your faces and be able to react to questions on the fly, but we can't do that right now. But the number one question afterwards is people say, well, what do I get? What's different? Why do I care if the federal and state benefits are put together? Why would that be good for me, Brad? So the state of California has over the years put together what I like to call this bucket of benefits. Many of you know about like the Fee Waiver program and all the different things that the state of California has done for veterans trying to, let's face it, they want you to stay here. They want you to be our neighbors. The state of California sees you as good neighbors. They don't want you to move out of the state. They have this bucket of benefits they put together. In that bucket of benefits, there's benefits through the CalVet home loan program. Now, I think one of the biggest benefits is how we actually do this process, how we actually pre-approve people, how we underwrite their loan. You see, today, if you were to go and apply for a loan at 98, 99% of the lenders out there, you would do the same basic thing. You'll fill out a 4 to 8 page loan application. At the end of filling out the application, the loan officer will type it into a computer. They'll type it in, and then they'll hit enter. And then the computer will actually run that loan application through a series of checks and balances and rules. And the computer will issue what's commonly known as a desktop underwriting decision. Computer makes the decision. Now, one of the ways that I know a veteran has gone through that and not been successful is they'll call me up and they'll generally say something to the effect of, Brad, what's your minimum FICO score? You see, the FICO score, the credit score that we all hear about, the FICO score generally required by most lenders today, I understand, is about 620. So if they had a FICO score that didn't meet that, they may have just got a turn down. They were rejected. Now, CalVet is very different. We don't have a minimum FICO score. Yeah, I said that. We don't have a minimum FICO score, but that doesn't mean everybody automatically qualifies. It doesn't mean you can have bad credit. No, it means we look at this whole process differently. You see, for us, it's a very personal process. It's a one-on-one, definitely. What we're going to do is we're going to look through your application and we're going to open up that credit report. And we're probably going to see the items on that report that led to that lower FICO score. But a good example of that might be somebody might have a 573 FICO score. And we open up the credit report and we're looking at it and we see back here, there's a period of time 3-4 years ago where everything seemed to just go down. And we'll say, tell me about that period of time, what happened? And we'll often find a great one is they went through a divorce. And very commonly when that happens, the credit just drops. But when we look closely and pursue this on a personal level, we find out, well, look, you've made all your payments the last 12 months on time. Everything's been on time for 12 months. Now to Calvet, that's pretty good credit. We'll look a little deeper. Hey, you've made all your payments for 24 months on time. That's usually excellent credit, very usable by us. You see, we're going to personalize it. We're going to look at your unique situation, and we're going to try to make this work. Now, as I've said, we can't help everybody. I want to be honest, we can't help everybody, but every loan officer is trained the same way. They're trained, if you can't give a pre-approval out, give them a path to the home ownership. Give them a path to follow. Tell them the things they need to do. An example, I use actually a real world one for me. I had somebody years ago that I was doing a loan for, and they had a few lates, and they were about 6 months old. And at that time, I said, everything's good, except for you have these lates right here, which is kind of not, I can't really work with those. They don't have a good excuse for those 3 lates 3 months ago. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go 6 months with no more late payments. So I can go to an underwriter and I can say, look, you've got 12 months of clean payment history. I think they've overcome the challenge that was put forth to them. In that case, they were able to purchase a home. They were able to follow. You see, once you get an assignment, a path to home ownership, and you follow it, it's in your file. Once you've done that, it's very simple to go back and rubber stamp that they have done what they were told to do. They were successful. I think we should approve this loan. Next slide, please. So how much do we loan? Well, it's pretty amazing to me. I'm an older guy, and the thought that you can get $1 million loan with 0 down payment is pretty amazing to me, but it's possible. Calvet will actually lend up to $1,027,968 in the high cost counties of California. Next slide, please. But if you look at this chart, you'll find that even in the least expensive places to live in California, we'll still go up to $685,000 and some change if you qualify. That pretty much means that in any county in California, if you qualify, you could get at least a $685,000 loan. We find that these loan amounts usually work for people to get into homes, not always the top tier homes in the area, but they can find something to live with. Next slide, please. Probably my favorite question is when someone calls me and they tell me they've had a short sale or foreclosure. Is there anything we can do to help? And I love that question because my answer is really unique. I don't think anybody else does what we do. You see, typically when this were to happen, you would go into, let's call it the bank on the corner, and you'd walk in and you would say, hey, I had a short sale or foreclosure a few years back. Is there anything you can do for me? And what they would typically do is they'd take your DD-214, they would order a certificate of eligibility entitlement. They would look at that certificate and they would see the amount of loan guarantee, that insurance policy I talked about, the amount that was used up, spent, if you will, on that short sale or foreclosure. And then they do some weird math. I won't try to explain that to you, but they do some weird math. And a typical answer would be something like this. Bank on the corner would say, well, we looked at your DD-214 and COE. It appears if you qualify, you still have VA benefits up to for round numbers, a $300,000 loan with 0 down payment. Now, I find that in that scenario, most of my veterans say, well, that's great, but we wanted to buy a $400,000 home. And they say, what does that do for me? And the bank on the corner would say, well, that's not a huge problem. You need to put 25% down of the differential. So in that case, the $100,000 differential, they would have to put $25,000 down. Now, being from the finance world, $400,000 purchase price, $25,000 down. That's not that bad of a loan, really, VA. Not that bad of a loan. It's not what most veterans really are hoping for. They want that zero down program. And this is where I love what Calvet does. You see, again, we personalize this process. We're going to not only look at your COE to make a determination, we're going to open up your application and we're going to look through it. We're going to look at the merits on the application. Wow, they've handled credit really well. Very good job. I like their income. They're not pushing. They don't have too much debt. Everything looks really good on this. If we feel it's a really good loan, many times, and it's always one-on-one, many times though, we will go ahead and we'll say, you know what, we're going to, I gave it a name just so I could talk about it. I call it secondary entitlement. That's just me, secondary entitlement. We'll go ahead and we join forces with federal VA. We'll do the zero down $400,000 loan for that veteran, and we'll fill the gap. We'll stand on the line for them. This has helped many veterans achieve home ownership that couldn't. I think, I don't know the number, probably 10-15% maybe of how much we fund every month is people who thought they didn't have this opportunity and then they find out and they're able to achieve home ownership. Now, again, I always have to say, we can't help everybody. Somebody might have that $300,000 partial VA entitlement and they want to buy $1 million house, and we look at the application, we just can't stretch that far. But even in that case, what we typically will do is we'll try to give them a better option, a better offering. Maybe we'll say put 10% down or 5% down or 15% down, depending always on that individual case. We'll try to help them get into the home. We'll try to stand with them and make it possible. This also, by the way, works for the person who bought a property VA. They bought a home maybe on the East Coast or even in California, and they've lived there for a while, and then they rented it out, or they're planning to rent it out. They're living there now and they plan to buy another home. Either way, that insurance policy, that loan guarantee is in use. So it's partially used up. Sometimes there's something left on it. And so the same math, the same attitude would all apply. I actually think we're more positive on that attitude because they actually have a rental property, which usually shows some financial stability and some equity, if you will. And now we're able to help them get into another home, owner occupied. Now, Calvet is an owner occupied program. It's primary residence only. So they would be moving from their current VA home into a new purchased Calvet home and possibly being able to take advantage of this extended, stretched eligibility that's only offered through us, as far as I know. Next slide, please. My favorite thing to talk about with people, yeah, I love to sit down and talk about the stories of the things I've heard Calvet does, because they're pretty amazing. They really are. My history with Calvet is I actually originated Calvet's on the outside, real estate broker and lender. And then when Calvet said, come work for us, I was kind of excited by the change in life and to get to go do that. So I went up and I was in Sacramento for my week of training. And what they told me to do is, we want you to stand behind the processors. We want you to stand behind the loan officer, stand behind the underwriters, see what they're doing, hear their process, just get to know how things work. So I did. And I was really amazed, sincerely, because I was hearing about, this no minimum FICO and these higher loan balances than most lenders would go, and how they were stretching out and how they were personalizing and really looking at every single thing to trying to make things work. And I loved that I was going to be a part of that. But there was a business side of me that said, well, gee, if we're doing all that, it seems common sense business model that we probably have more foreclosures, more cancellations than most lenders, or I would think so, because it seems like we're really reaching out and helping people. So I had to look it up because I knew eventually I'd be out talking to people about this product. And when I looked it up, I didn't really understand it because, and I went back a few years, Calvet has maintained one of the lowest foreclosure cancellation rates in the entire nation for many, many years. How do they do that? Well, after being here for a while, it totally makes sense. You see, when you go and you get a loan from Calvet, you start off, they originate the loan for you, they process the loan for you, they underwrite the loan for you, they fund the loan for you, and they service the loan for you your entire 30-year period of time. They never sell your loan. They're with you from step 1 to step 5. If you have a problem, I honestly believe at the bottom of my heart, if I had a problem, my transmission went out, I had a health problem, I just lost my job, and I have to call a big bank and say, hey, I need help this month on my payment, or I had to call Calvet, who do you think I would rather call? Calvet loves their veterans, and they do everything to keep them in their homes. Next slide, please. I actually, if you look at the date, this came in last week, April 15th. And I threw this in because it said a couple things. And I like when someone else talks about us. But what this said to me, because you see right now, the people who have loan approvals, who are getting loan approvals, who are calling us, they're all having a lot of trouble getting a house accepted. It's hard to buy a home right now. It's a very, very tough market to be a buyer in. There's just not that many properties. But this is somebody who's stuck with it. They actually didn't think they could even qualify. They didn't think they could get a loan, but they did it, and they were able to purchase a home in Orange County, which is one of the harder places, I understand, to find a home to purchase. It is possible. This just happened. This is somebody who actually had gone through a foreclosure in the past. This is somebody who didn't think that anybody would help them, and Calvet was able to help them. Next slide, please. I have this letter, and this letter is a little older. It's from last September, but I just love something this veteran said in the letter, and I wanted to show it to you because it's actually, I'd love for you to take this as an assignment when you hear this letter. This veteran said that they were skeptical. They were a little skeptical. And I love that word because it really sizes up so many people that we help at Calvet. You see, they've been through it all. They've talked to their friends, they've talked to relatives, they've talked to realtors, they've talked to lenders, they've done everything they were supposed to, and it just didn't work out for them. This gentleman says that he thought people turned their backs on him. He felt like there was just too many obstacles, couldn't get approved. But luckily somebody said, before you give up, I know you're skeptical, why don't you call Calvet, see if they can help. And I think this happens. Probably 30% of our loans come from some other person helping another person, some vet telling another vet. Because you won't ever see a Calvet ad on the Super Bowl or on TV or even in the yellow pages. We just don't advertise it. We're not set up that way. But somebody helped Robert and said, hey, why don't you call Calvet? So he was skeptical, but he went ahead and did. He really wanted a home, right? So he called, he went through the process. He got his pre-approval, but he was still skeptical. He went out and he purchased a home, paid for the appraisal, paid for the home inspection, still skeptical, didn't believe it was really going to happen, waiting for that foot to fall, so to speak. And finally, he got a call from his loan officer, Adam, who said, hey, we funded the loan, you're going to own the home tomorrow. And he says, I think that he shed a tear because, see, the skepticism went away. It happened. It worked. But it only worked for him because somebody like you, I'm speaking directly to you, told somebody else, why don't you call Calvet before you give up? Next slide, please. I just threw this in because I wanted to actually share it with you. This was a homeless veteran that I met at the Bob Hope building in Los Angeles. He was living on Skid Row for over 10 years. He did everything right. And it wasn't just me. It wasn't just Calvet that saved him. He went in, he got all the help he needed. He got the help he needed. He was diligent. And when I first spoke with him, I gave him a path to home ownership. And it took him, I think, over 2 years to achieve that, to do all the things he needed to do to get in place. But he owns a home. Last August, he closed, actually end of July, he closed escrow on his own home. And I love the way he wrote me a letter on that. He said, I now own a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home. It's outside of LA, about an hour. It has, I think he said 17 windows. And that was, for some reason, the windows really got me that was important to him. But he's an artist and he has a studio. He took this picture and sent it to me. These are, I believe, 2 veterans. They're shadows on the Skid Row area. And then he's made it into this art. But the real answer here is this isn't the only homeless veteran we've helped. I know that we have at least 4 that I can think of that we've helped go through this process. For us, I think of one in particular that another loan officer had, and I interviewed the loan officer and I said, well, how did you handle that? What did you do to help this person become successful? And he said, all I did is I gave her 5-degree course corrections. She just needed a little bit of help through the process. But the other thing, what he didn't brag on it or say it, but I learned was true, he was also there with encouragement for 2 years. A 1-minute call, a 5-degree course correction, and a couple minutes of compassion can take somebody from homelessness into owning a home. And we will spend the time, we'll spend the energy trying to help people achieve their goals. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going a little long and I apologize. I got so much I want to tell you. So I want to, before I forget, I want to make sure I say it. You are welcome to give, I'm going to give you my direct number out at the end, and you are welcome to call me, and you are welcome to give that number to anybody you think I can help. It doesn't have to be a Calvet loan. It could be another loan. It could be another state. I don't care. I take calls from out of state. I want to help them achieve home ownership. I'm going to talk about just one of the benefits right now, because I didn't realize how great this benefit was until fairly recently, and that's our home insurance policy. Now, I've learned I have to always preface this or I get lots of emails. You can only have the Calvet insurance for your home if you funded your loan through Calvet. You can't get the Calvet insurance if you have a VA loan or a loan with another lender. I'm sorry, you can't. You can only have it if you fund your loan through Calvet. And the reason you might want it is it's pretty amazing. It's sort of an old-fashioned policy. It's full replacement cost guarantee. The deductible is $250 for hazard insurance, $250 for fire insurance, $500 for flood insurance, and $500 or 5% for earthquake, 5%. And you're going to get that insurance policy even if you're buying a home up on a hill in San Francisco, or if you're buying a house next to the Russian River. You're going to get that insurance if you do that Calvet/VA loan. It's fantastic insurance. But I'm not an insurance guy, and I didn't even understand how great it was until we had those horrible fires up in Paradise, California. What happened up in Paradise was the day before the fire, many, many people felt they had enough insurance. They were fine. And then the fire came through, wreaked havoc. The next day, they woke up to find that the cost of building materials had skyrocketed. The cost of labor had skyrocketed. And their insurance policy just wasn't enough. I'm told many are still waiting for a gap somehow to be able to rebuild. Now, we had 26 homes financed in that fire. All 26 have been rebuilt or in the process still of being rebuilt for that $250 deductible. We have guaranteed replacement cost coverage. So the fact that the cost went up was still covered. Fantastic insurance. And I'm not an insurance expert, but I just feel like I got to talk about it. Next slide, please. So here's where I could actually talk about an hour, and I'm going to talk about 4 minutes. So what's most important? I want to tell you about one Calvet loan that's a secret. It's not out there anywhere. Okay. And what happened is we were finding we had a large number of people we had given pre-approvals to that weren't coming back with contracts. A couple of years ago, we noticed this. So we started calling them and going, what's going on? Why aren't you successful buying a home? Can we help? And we found out they kind of all fell into this category. They were trying to buy the least expensive homes in the areas they lived in, the least expensive homes. And they were also trying to get in with very little money out of their pocket or no money out of their pocket. So they were writing offers, 0 down, seller to pay all my closing costs. And the sellers were saying, hey, the market's so hot, we just can't help you. We don't want to help you because we have so many offers. I'm sorry. So we looked at that problem, and we actually looked on those programs I talk about on the shelf. We found one, and we kind of dusted it off and made a few changes to it, and it's not listed anywhere, but if you qualify for it, they'll tell you about it automatically. Basically, if they haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, and if they're at 80% of the adjusted median income for the area that they're purchasing in, and there's a couple other things, but basically if they meet those 2 requirements, we can go ahead and do that Calvet VA 100% financing that we pre-approved them for. And not to take away their purchasing power, we set it up that we'll give them a loan for up to 3% of the loan amount that they can use to pay closing costs. And what we did is we set that up with optional payments for the first 10 years. You can make payments day one. You can make payments day one, no prepayment. It's just by setting it up as an optional payment, we didn't have to include it in the debt to income ratio, taking away some of your purchasing power. That program is very successful. Again, when you apply, your loan officer will automatically tell you if you fall into it, and you can get it. And that can help people get in. I know last month I talked to somebody who had been trying and couldn't get a home, and then they found out about this program, and it made all the difference in the world because now they didn't have to ask for closing costs. Okay, so what do I talk about? I'm going to talk about a couple things really fast. There's these are not Calvet related. I'm going to talk about other lenders as fast as I can. Okay, these are other programs you should know about, and you're welcome to call me and we'll talk in depth about your situation. So a couple of things. One program is called a WISH grant. I love the word grant. That means you may not ever have to pay it back. The WISH grant, you can Google it. It's a federally backed grant from the Bank of San Francisco. It's basically like this. It's an incentive to save money to get into a home. So if you qualify for the program, what they do is they say, look, for every dollar you save up to $5,500, we'll match it 4 to 1. In other words, a $22,000 possible grant. After 5 years of home ownership, you wouldn't have to pay it back. Not my program, but one you should know about. Fantastic program. Another program that's probably my favorite program is the generic name is a mortgage assistance program. Now, mortgage assistance programs are down payment assistance in general. So I recommend everybody call the county and the city that they're thinking of purchasing in and ask, do you have any down payment assistance programs? Do you know of any down payment assistance programs? By the way, while you're asking that question, you might ask, does a veteran have to live in the city or the county or work in the city or the county to be able to use it? City of Santa Ana in Orange County, they about a year and a half ago opened their program up to any veteran coming from anywhere. They offer up to $80,000 down payment assistance at 0% interest. It's due and payable in 45 years. So I'd like some of that money, 80 grand, 0% interest, pay me back in 45 years. You have to qualify, it's their program, but they open that to veterans coming from anywhere. Riverside County, I was on the internet this morning, they have a $75,000 program, up to $75,000. It's 20% of the purchase price up to $75,000 is what I read. But you have to call and ask. They're not out looking for you. You have to be aggressive and look for them. You've got to call and ask them, do you have any help? These programs are popping up all over the state of California. I was on a call with HUD in December, and they were talking about how many of these programs were in the work. There's a lot. So it's very important to look for these. The last thing I would talk about, because this is mainly for Riverside County, in Yurupa Valley, Habitat for Humanity is coming forward with 26 homes. I think they still have a couple left that are going to be for veteran low-income housing. You have to fit in between their housing guide, and I'm not the specialist for them. You have to call them. But there's these types of programs out there, and it's the people who call, who work at it diligently that are going to get in. There's excellent opportunities, but you do got to do a little homework and a little work. And of course, you are welcome to call me. Okay, I think I can't go any further on these. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So how do you apply? Next slide, please. Super simple. Go to our webpage, calvet.ca.gov. Go to the home loans icon, click on it. It'll open up this page at the bottom. Click on the apply now, and you get this super simple 2-minute application. It's not your full application. You'll get an email response that'll say, thanks for applying for your Calvet loan. Someone's going to reach out to you within 48 hours, get your DD-214, 2 months payment, two months pay stubs, 2 months bank statements, all pages together, and they're going to call you and email you. Usually they do both. Now, if you do this on a Friday night, they don't work on the weekend, so it's going to be Monday, Tuesday night before they get to you. But it's super simple, and they're there to help you. And remember, they'll give you that path to home ownership even if you're not ready. Next slide, please. Here's how we look in the book. I personally recommend everybody download the PDF copy onto your phone from our website. There probably is a link in the chat. This is a fantastic book. It has all the information that you're going to need, and no one wants to read it all at once, but read a little bit at a time. Next slide, please. So this is my direct contact information. Because this has been a problem, I want to just draw your attention to my last name, Pedersen, or like Peterson. It is an O-N. A lot of people send it to me with O-N, and I never get it, and I apologize for that. It has to be spelt like this. And the 916-747-4137 is actually this cell phone. And I'm sincere when I say you're welcome to call me with your questions. A lot of the stuff is very individualized, so we can talk privately about it. And also give my number out to someone who needs help. Thanks so much for letting me talk. I'm sorry I went over. I just had a lot to tell you.
Oh my goodness, don't even worry about it, Brad. This is just such really great, valuable information. And we're so glad that you were able to join us today. We know how busy you are. So like he said, that 747 number on there directly gets to him, and he does answer his phone. So utilize that. Tell your friends, spread the number around. He's always willing to help out. So right now, we are going to go ahead and go to the next slide, which is going to start our questions section. And all this information that you're seeing here is all the contact information for the for everyone that spoke. So again, my email and Kirk's email is up there. We're from the CalTAP team. You've got Merlene's email as well, and also Brad's email too. So and then you have all of your contacts for Moreno Valley, Norco, and Riverside City colleges as well. And those are all the information for, those are all email addresses that you guys can reach out to them with. So make sure you guys can snapshot this. So at this time, Kirk, are there any questions out there?
Yes, there are. We have about 6 for Brad. I want to thank everybody for posting the questions in the chat. I'm going to address the first one. It was from Dwight about the tuition fee waiver. I did respond to him in the chat, but I want to kind of go over it in the open forum so everybody. He asked if there was an age limit on the fee waiver, and it says, I don't know of anyone who's received a PhD under 22 years of age. So I got a chuckle out of that. Yes, there is an age limit under Plan A. I believe it's 27 years old if they're under Plan A. Under Plan B, however, there is no age limit. So they can be eligible to attend use the fee waiver. However, there is an income limit on the students. So they unable to earn more than the poverty level, which is around $13,000. So hopefully that answered the question on the fee waiver. The next one was, the rest of the questions were all home loan related. So Brad, you can chime back in. The first one, is it possible to use both the VA loan and a Calvet loan on separate properties, or must the property be your primary residence?
So the answer is the property must be your primary residence, and it is possible to have a VA loan on your rental property and a Calvet loan on your primary residence. But you can't stay in your VA property alone and then buy a home Calvet as an investment.
Okay. The next one is from Janine. Can a veteran enter in a Calvet home loan program with a non-veteran co-signer or joint tenant?
No, unfortunately, it has to be the veteran and registered domestic partner or spouse is what we look at for income and for ownership.
Okay. The next one is, if a veteran wants to buy a home, 500 to 700,000, but the monthly payments are 3,500 or higher, I assume they're asking, does CalVet help with lowering the monthly payment, or does a veteran need to put money down to lower the payment?
Yeah, the bottom line is it's a loan program, not a grant program. So whatever the loan payment is, you would have to make. A down payment would lower the loan payment. And for the previous question, give me a call and we can talk about other options of financing besides CalVet that might be beneficial for you. I didn't talk about it today, but CalHAFA has a great program for non-related people buying together, maybe one veteran, non-veteran, and I'd be happy to tell you about that.
Okay. And then if a veteran applies for a home loan using a VA loan, do you offer assistance in reviewing their loan paperwork or hidden fees that the bank includes? Or do you assist veterans in understanding the APR and interest rate and hidden fees included in a loan?
So that's a big question because it could mean a lot of different things to different people asking it. If someone calls me and they have some basic questions about their home loan, I'm happy to talk to them about it, but I don't receive scans of their entire loan documents or their closing cost documents or anything like that and go through them for them. That's something we couldn't do for you. But I always try to be helpful, but I'm not in a position to review everybody's documents. We don't have the time for that.
And then the sixth one is, can you refinance an existing VA loan into a CalVet loan?
You can, but it's one of those areas where more often than not, when I hear the situation, I recommend a different program to the veteran. There's a program that's offered through federal VA that's called an interest rate reduction refinance loan. The acronym is IRRL, IRRRL. It's a fantastic program for a veteran who has a property and now wants to just do a low cost refinance to lower the interest rate. And I'd go into detail with you on that situation. If I think that's good for you, feel free to call me and I'll be glad to talk to you about that.
A couple more here. Can you talk more about the Workforce to Homeowners Initiative?
I'm not sure what that is, so no, I can't.
I don't either. I'm not sure either. That was from Danny. I'm sorry, Danny, about that. The next one from Pearl, can I purchase with my kids on my loan?
No, I'm sorry. Again, it's spouse or registered domestic partner for a CalVet loan. But there are other opportunities, other lenders, other programs that would allow that. And I'd be happy to talk to you about your situation and which ones maybe you should consider looking into.
Okay. This one's from Janelle. If you're approximately 3 years away from purchasing, should we start working with CalVet now or wait until we're closer to the time of purchase?
So it's a little early. I generally tell people they can make like a call and get some basic ideas from me on what they should be doing to get ready to purchase. And probably I wouldn't apply for your loan with any lender until maybe 3 months before you think you're actually ready to buy, something like that in general. If you have a unique situation where you think you have some homework to do and you need counseling on that, call anytime and I'll talk to you about your situation and best practices to get ready. One of my best practices I didn't mention today, but I think every veteran should consider talking to a county veteran service officer about a veteran service related disability before applying for the CalVet loan or the VA loan, because it will save you a tremendous amount if you're able to get a 10% rating or more on the federal VA funding fee.
And I'll put the contact the county veterans office in the chat. The next one is from Danny. I think you just answered this one about the income qualifier. This one, they asked if the wife's income would be counted as income. So you just covered that, yes. The next one, what does CalVet rely on to set the interest rate of a loan?
So Calvet gets our money from a different place than everybody else, pretty much. Everybody else gets their money from the federal government. It's an auction, and it basically changes constantly. That's why you hear about the federal discount rate. Calvet gets our money from bond sales, which, very shortly put, is it's a trending index. Usually as rates are coming down, we're following them down. And as rates are going up, we're following them up. So a lot of people find it beneficial to have an insurance policy of a pre-approval with Calvet in a changing market, because interest rates can go up quite quickly in a changing market, but we change much slower because of the way our money is obtained.
Good answer. The next one, I think this is the last one so far. If we're interested in purchasing later in the year, hopefully more inventory becomes available, is it suggested that we contact you to be help us set up to be ready to apply for the loan, such as making suggestions or changes we can make?
Yeah, I think this question is basically, should you call for some counseling if you're getting ready to buy a home? Absolutely. Most of the time, this is a 3 to 7 minute conversation, maybe 10, and we get to know each other, where I'll just talk to you about your situation and here's some of the things I think you should do to get ready. So I'm always open to that call. No problem.
All right, Brad, that's the last question. Thank you for your time and your feedback for all the questions. And I want to thank everybody for your questions in the chat. Please contact Brad. He's a wealth of information. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to him personally. I'll turn it back over to Jana.
All right. Yeah, again, thank you, Brad, for answering all those questions. And if you guys have more questions, if you guys can still type them in the chat, we're going to be here for a couple more minutes. I have just a few quick things to tell you guys. So if you think of anything else, let us know. So again, this is all the contact information. You guys probably saw that. Like I said earlier, you guys are going to be getting an email that's going to have our survey in there. And that's going to just give us feedback on what we could do better or what more you guys are looking for. So Kirk is going to probably post that in the chat as well, a link to that, or you'll get that email. So moving on to the next slide, I mentioned this in the very beginning of the webinar. I showed it to you guys where you can find all upcoming webinars on our website. Some of these, the ones in May, some of them are not up on our website quite yet. We're still kind of working on the registration process, all that stuff. So, but they will be coming soon. These are the ones coming up in April, and then a whole lot of really great stuff coming up in May. So definitely tune in. That way you guys can learn more information. And once again, this is our information for to get a hold of us, our 1-800 number. And again, that 1-800 number is on the back of the resource book. Kind of see it right here, or it's on the last page of that PDF copy that you guys received. And there is our website information right there, as well as the email address to get a hold of us. And like I said earlier, another great way to get information on what's going on at Calvet is through social media. So you can just open up your cameras and focus it on the QR code, and then a link will pop up. You can click on the link. That'll lead you to our Facebook page, and you can just click like, and then you can get updates on us. So we thank you guys for your time today and for all your great questions. And of course, we thank you for your service. And we hope everyone has a really great day. I don't think there's any more questions. So we're going to go ahead and end the webinar. Hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.